Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the KCTV 5 Plus streaming desk. I'm Katie Bird, joined with KCTV 5 anchor Lauren Magarino.
Hi.
Lauren, you had a really fun project. So excited to break it down right here. Kansas City's beloved Ebenezer Scrooge from the Christmas Carol performances. He's retiring. His career in at least the Christmas Carol is coming to a close. And so I'm curious, what led you to this project with him?
So, first of all, I'm a theater nerd. You need to understand that about me. And I love the arts, and that's one of the things that, I keep tabs on, if you will, here in our community. And also the thing is like we're in this season where it's all about traditions, right? For a lot of people, this is a time to look back, to be grateful, have gratitude, and return to things at this time of year. And for so many families, I learned very quickly here in Kansas City, KC Rep's production of A Christmas Carol is one of those traditions. And there are generations of families who know this Scrooge, which is Neal Johnson. He's been in the role for over 24 years and with the production for 40. So, he is a staple. And when I realized and learned that this was going to be his final season playing Scrooge, I thought how incredibly special. And there's so many families, again, in the Kansas City area that will feel something about this. And so we had to cover it. We had to be there.
Let's take a listen in.
Merry Christmas, out upon Merry Christmas.
Ebenezer Scrooge is a man who lost love.
What's Christmas time to you?
And rediscovers it for others and for himself.
I get goosebumps when I think of the journey that he goes through and that I get to go through every night.
It's of the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob. It is.
Neal Johnson brings Scrooge to life in KC Rep's production of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, you were always a good friend to me, thank you.
Yeah, I'll miss that.
And his decades-long journey with the character is coming to a close. After more than 40 years in the show, and 24 of them as Scrooge, Johnson is hanging up his top hat. If every single seat represented a performance, Johnson could fill this entire theater twice over, performing an estimated 1,100 times as Ebenezer Scrooge.
I was 50 when I started it, and I'm 76 next April. All I can say is that it's time. I don't want to still be doing it when they have to carry me off the stage.
Peggy Friesen, who's performed alongside Johnson for 40-plus years, remembers Johnson's big break, filling the role after an actor from New York.
When he started doing Scrooge, I thought, oh, right, yeah. We've got a local guy doing this, and the whole company was completely local by then. He filled those shoes really well.
So well, the holidays are not complete without Johnson for many Kansas City families.
People in the grocery store who want to talk about their family's relationship annually to A Christmas Carol. It tells me that it is a tradition and that I've been a part of it.
That connection runs deeper than applause.
It's the only Scrooge I've ever known. It's the only Scrooge my kids have ever known. And it's the only Scrooge that my in-laws have ever known.
And when he leaves there, you and presents could be...
Director Jason Chanos has collaborated with Johnson for 6 years.
Those are massive shoes to fill, and we don't have a plan yet. I can say honestly.
You asked a question about special places. I never thought about that.
During rehearsal, Johnson tells us he's not thinking about his final show. It'll get in the way of his performance. But when the final curtain closes...
I'm looking forward to Fall Fests, Oktoberfest. I'm looking forward to seeing Nutcracker again.
Placing a spotlight on how he'll be missed.
We're a team, and so to have that member of the team, I don't know what that says about me. I don't know where I go from here. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel or what I'm supposed to think. So I'm going to miss him deeply.
But all good stories come to an end. And while Scrooge's story is one of redemption,
it's a bond. We will always be friends because of Christmas Carol, friends and loved ones.
Johnson's is of an iconic role that created a lasting connection to the Kansas City community. No humbug about it.
A Christmas Carol. It's just such a holiday classic. Lauren, what was it like speaking to the very people who make holiday magic come to life right here in Kansas City?
I mean, it was incredible. You could tell very quickly that there are multiple people who have been with this production for just as long as Gary. And the fact that, and he said it, you know, they're always going to have that bond. They're always going to have a Christmas Carol bond. You could feel that very quickly. And, you know, it was almost like, what fascinated me most is, given that he's been part of the production for so long, I was really curious, you know, how do you keep it fresh every single year, every season when you're coming back to this role? And he had answers about that, which I know we have a little bit about that we'll get into later. But I think that was the thing that really sat with me when getting to speak with the cast members and the director who we heard from, was just this energy that's constantly brought, and the fact that this connection has been enduring for this long. And I shouldn't even say enduring, but you know, because that makes it sound negative, but enjoying for this long, and that it keeps them coming back. And there was another person, the technical director, that I spoke to as well during this rehearsal that we were able to sit in on, basically. And he was explaining that every time people come back to do this production, it feels like a homecoming, you know, that because that's how close they are. And they don't really see each other outside of the production as much, maybe some of them. And so it's always just a really special time for the entire cast and crew putting on the production. And it was special. Even though we were there for, 20, 30 minutes just watching, you could feel that camaraderie, if you will.
I love that. And, to think about Ebenezer Scrooge's journey, it's very transformative. And Gary Neal, he got into this role every single time he performed. So has he talked to you about what it's going to be like when it hits him, that it's going to be over soon?
I kept asking him, how are you feeling? Are you thinking about your last performance? What is running through your mind when you're rehearsing? Maybe thinking that this is, this is the last rehearsals for this role. And when I tell you that every single time he responded, he said, I'm not thinking about that. Wow. I'm not thinking about it. You want to talk about a lesson in being present and blocking out all of the extra noise, if you will, whether it's good or bad, and in this case, it's good. It's a happy story with a happy ending, but he really is so dedicated to his craft. He's an actor who says, the moment I'm on stage, the moment I'm rehearsing or going full out in performance, I'm not there. It's Scrooge, and I'm locked into that. And so he really hasn't taken the time out of his professionalism to take stock about what is happening in this moment. And I would imagine, and he alluded to as much, that it'll hit after the fact. He's too focused and he's too much of a professional to let it sink in now. So right now, no word on if he's thought about it. He's like, nope, I'm not thinking about it. It'll distract too much.
And I think that's one of the things that sets him apart, is just the dedication to the craft. And I know you also spoke with the theater community, and they're all coping with him leaving, retiring after this season. So I think we should go ahead and get into that conversation.
Yeah, let's play it out.
His work ethic, he changes the temperature in the room when he walks in it because he knows what he's doing, and not all of us do. He is a professional father figure.
The thing I remember most is, it's not Christmas Carol, but he was in Death of a Salesman years ago, and my father's a salesman. And he looks like my father, so it's hard.
He's an old hand, as many of us are, and we know how to do it.
There's just qualities about him that he just brings to the process. There's things that I don't have to tell him, that just happen. And I take that for granted. And that's going to be a bit of a wake-up call.
What is the biggest lesson that he's gifted you with over the course of 10 years?
Trust. 100% trust.
Trust your friends. Trust the other people on stage with you.
Even if it wasn't earned yet.
What will you miss most?
The hugs. We're really very close. And it won't be the same without him.
Because there's no way we're going to be able to replace Gary. So how do we honor this tradition for so many people in a way that won't disappoint? And I don't have to worry about that when it's Gary. I'm fine. I can sleep at night. He's gonna bring it home.
You know, it's just so inspiring to hear his friends and colleagues talk about his impact decades long. But I'm curious, Lauren, for you, what was the most moving part of this coverage?
I think two things, and they still surround this legacy conversation that we're having here. One is that when I asked Gary about what he thought his legacy would be with this role in this production, he was very humble about it. He was like, I don't know. You would have to ask the people that I've worked with, you know, and those who've been around me. And he said that, you know, he hopes that it was just one of connection, and especially with the Kansas City, you know, audience that have come through time and time again to support the production. But when I spoke to his colleagues who you heard from there, and I thought they just, I mean, they were gushing over him, of course, and you could tell that they have a very deep bond and connection with him. But with the director in particular, Jason Chanos, you know, it was emotional to me because I think a lot of us often, we think about things that we do and you don't think maybe deeply about it and how that affects other people around you. And Gary just being Gary, his professionalism, his craft, and how he has collaborated with Chanos. When Chanos started talking about that, he got incredibly emotional and basically said, I've never thought so much about how his legacy, how it's becoming part of mine. And that him as a director, having been working with him for 6, you know, nearly 7 years, you know, how much that's become part of his story as well. And he called Gary a quote unquote professional father figure. Aww. And I just thought that that was really touching. And, you know, you just never know how you're going to affect somebody. And especially if you get the chance to be working with somebody for a longer period of time, or, you know, maybe if you think about it, it's just for a season, right? I mean, this is a Christmas Carol, it's a holiday show. So it's not like all throughout the year you're interacting with the person in this way, but it does leave an impact. And so I thought that was really special. Just hearing about their bond as people who work together, but also when they are thinking about their career and the legacy that they're leaving behind, how that becomes to, you know, I guess, grow together, and how grateful he was for that. And so same thing, you mentioned it at the top before we heard that piece about the legacy, but I could tell that the cast, and I didn't have the chance to talk to crew as much, but, you know, they are kind of grappling with how this is all going to come to a close. And it's hard to go there when you're in the middle of it. I asked Chanos, I was like, how is it directing someone's final performance in this role? And he was like, great question. I'll tell you when it's over, because I'm in the middle of it now. You know, he said he thinks it's going well, and like he said, he doesn't have to worry about it, but it's really profound. And so, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes, you know, beginnings and endings can be something that feels intense, but they can be beautiful. And this is certainly a beautiful closing of a chapter.
Yeah, and I know you actually attended a separate rehearsal where you got to have a one-on-one conversation with Gary Neal. So Let's go ahead and listen in.
That's a wonderful question. We have laughs each year about, do I really have to? Because of course I do, and I want to. And there's new people every year. And so they have to get used to me, and I have to get used to them. And things change with new people and with new ideas. Things change. And so, yeah, Scrooge, you got to be there. To walk in, it's an old friend, is exactly what it feels like. Because there's a lot of happy moments in this room with lots of shows, but especially with Christmas Carol. There's a lot of happy moments in this show, and many of them have happened on that set right there. And that chair is there. Okay, you asked the question. That chair is a happy place to sit for me. I was already somewhat enchanted by the set, by the whole vibe of A Christmas Carol, and especially the set. And it was exciting, and it continues to be, not the same degree of excitement, but continues to be exciting every year. But yeah, the first year was special. The last year's special too. Yes and no. That's a good question. Can I believe it? It's in my fabric. It's just what I do. It's what happens at Christmas, and and this will be it. It won't be the same way. I'll be sitting out there watching the next person, and I'm sure loving it. I have no regrets about leaving, but I'll probably miss it. I'm sure I'll miss it.
The next Scrooge, he's going to have some important shoes to fill, Lauren. So great hearing that one-on-one conversation. And for KCTV5 viewers that do want to see more on this, they can do this on the KCTV5 website and, of course, on KCTV5 Plus streaming. Lauren, it was so great sitting down with you and learning more about this big project that you had.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. And I just want to give a big congrats to Gary, because what a time as Scrooge. He won't say it, that he's left much of a legacy. You've left a massive legacy. So congratulations to you. And thank you, Katie.
Yeah, thank you.